Hello, hello. Today is Monday, September 25th, 2023, and we are gathered here once again to discuss the Challenge USA Season 2. I thought this was a great episode. I know Kyle's got stuff to talk about. I bet Gina's got stuff to talk about. So let's just get right into it. And I hope Gina brought her calculator tonight.
Oh my!
I've been waiting all day to say that.
Slandered
All day.
So excited,
right
so
out of
excited.
the gate.
I could
Right out of the
feel
gate.
Literally, like, I woke up this morning and I knew, I said, I'm going to say this right before the opening theme. And I was saying it in my head all day today.
It got
Yeah.
Gina so goodly.
So excited to slander me all day
Oh,
long.
God. Oh, man.
Thank God.
My name is John Dunphy. That's me. I'm John.
Yeah.
And I'm joined, as always, by my ride or dies, Mr. Kyle Petty and Miss Gina Morgino. See, ride or dies. Come on, it's all in good fun. It's all in good fun.
Come on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Good
if
ride.
you want, if you want to find us on the socials, you can do so at Strat Chat Pod. We are Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast.
Mhm.
So go out and find us. We're out there. Come hang
We're
with
also
us.
on Blue Sky.
Blue Sky. Blue
Because
Sky,
the logo
that's
is
right.
not in the thing. Okay, so Blue Sky. Not that I know what to add for that. Like just like
Yeah, well, I don't even know what that logo is.
right, and that's why I'm not updating it. But
Hmm.
Blue Sky. That's all.
Man, so this was a wild episode, right? We had a double elimination.
Mhm.
We saw one of our MTV Challenge legends leave the game, possibly forever. And we're just getting closer and closer to the finals. So where do we kick off? Any initial thoughts on the episode first that you guys want to throw out there?
I'm sure we'll get to it, but I'm certainly glad that Michaela's getting some of her shine.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of Michaela. I was super excited for her to get another shot at this because what was it,
Yeah.
Spies, Lies, and Allies, or she was really
Yeah.
disgraced over just a stupid note that it wasn't even a note. It was just like a letter of like her perceptions.
Right.
Yeah, that was really lame. So just happy to see her back. Happy to see her crushing it as we expected her to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree.
Mhm.
I totally agree.
I have a quick personal note that I think is so fun. So as we know, I unfortunately had been spoiled this season
Mhm.
because people that I follow on Twitter were reposting the spoiler accounts. But the fun thing is I saw the tweet and said, uh-oh, and scrolled by it really quickly. So I 1,000 million billion% know the woman who wins the season. But the man that I thought wins the season went home in this episode. So I now no
Fantastic.
longer know the man who wins, which is so much.
Good.
I'm so excited.
So maybe you're wrong about the female winner.
No, I know I'm not wrong about that one.
Oh, you deep dove.
No, I just other tweets that I saw were talking about that more than the other.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Oh boy. All right. Well, so this episode really kicked off with Chris coming back in from his elimination victory, where he sent home Sebastian, and I did enjoy. Yes, Sebi, Seabass, whatever you want to call him. But we saw Chris trying to sort of like mend some bridges, right, that he had burned with the Survivor people in the house. He had a conversation, I think it was with like Michelle and Michaela and Desi. Any thoughts on this? Is Chris, because I wasn't sure how Chris's reception coming back in would be, but he might be okay. It wasn't like as cold from people as I expected. They had that sit down real quick, all the Survivor people.
I can't tell if that's real or if it's numbers. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, that's why I'm a little uncomfortable to say what I think about it because it really could be a number of things. I will say after this entire episode, I am more endeared towards Chris.
Sure.
For multiple reasons that we'll get to. But yeah, I don't know about this conversation. I think we'll see, and we may not actually get to see as we talk about this, because the finale is supposed to be like really soon,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like this is not really going to get tested properly.
Mm.
True.
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
Kyler says it's numbers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I tend to agree. The only other thing really of note, I guess, that we had before the daily challenge was Josh and Wes's conversation outside when Wes was on the treadmill and Josh was kind of talking to him. And that's where I felt like something's going to happen
Right.
with one of these two here.
Right.
But Josh was going on and on about how he has this close friendship with Wes, and we had seen in like the next on from last episode, Josh crying and being like, "I have to do something and go against a really good friend here either way," and so I knew something with Josh and Wes was going to happen. Yeah, that's any thoughts about that or?
Yes, actually, I'm glad you brought it up. I was very like dissatisfied and like borderline disgusted with Wes and his whole DR talking about Josh in this.
He's
moment
so
because, like,
cocky.
yes, he's so cocky, and like it's one thing to be cocky. I can very much be endeared towards that as well. But I don't like it when you're putting somebody else down and like
And like for no reason.
yeah, like I mean, I don't always like how Josh plays the game, but like don't act like he's not a challenger. Like,
Right.
oh, he wants so bad to be like a real challenger. No, he is, because he's been in this for several seasons. Like, what was it, 6? Like, get the
Something
hell
like
out of
that, he
here.
said,
He's
yeah.
absolutely
a
a
while.
challenger,
Yeah.
whether you want to acknowledge him as such or not. Like, like don't I don't know. Like, I don't know why Wes, in his many attempts to elevate himself and make him look like, he's like top dog, he has to also minimize others.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
all. And it makes you not want to root for him, because I am a Wes fan, and like I guess you wouldn't get that from this rant. Like,
But truly, it's like
yeah.
there are ways to be confident without being like, I'm better than everybody else who is bad. Like,
right. You could admit that, like, other people are up there. I would still say that Wes is better than Josh, but like don't minimize him to not being a real challenger. Like that's no longer a thing. That's no longer a thing. Especially
I feel like
I'm sorry, but like especially when you're getting to the end of this episode and you're talking about you're supposed to be a challenger and you're going against the vets, bro.
yeah, like now all of a sudden you consider him a challenger,
right? Like get out of here. So he's a challenger when it works for you, but he's not a challenger when it doesn't. Like I am not down with that. So either discount him completely and stick to it, or get off
and
it.
I feel like so many of them are like that, specifically with Josh, because he's never been in a final, right?
No.
And I feel like that little detail, that little detail, everyone's like, oh, well, Josh isn't really a challenger. He's never run a final before. And it's like, okay, great. Like that doesn't make him any less worthy of being in the competition.
Right. And I feel like there were a couple of seasons, and listen, I don't know the lore like that. I struggle with stats, but like Josh has been on the cusp, like finale eve, more than once. So like that, how is that not valid?
That's why too, like when that comment came out that Josh hasn't been to a final, I was almost a little surprised for a second. I was like, wait, really? Because that he's been so Kyler tells us Josh lost the elimination right before the final.
Right.
Jordan.
So finale eve.
Yeah. He's gone deep into a lot of these seasons. And I'm seeing he has been on 6 seasons. The Challenge USA season 2 is officially his 6th. Other than that, he was on War of the Worlds. He was on War of the Worlds 2. He was on Total Madness, Double Agents, Spies, Lies, and Allies. So he's been on, around as long as Tori, probably, right? I mean, or maybe not quite as long, but like
maybe not quite as long, but we're getting close.
Yeah. And I, even though I know Josh is a Big Brother champion and he's only done 1 season there, but like in his, if somebody tells me, oh, did you see Josh last night on whatever show? I would immediately assume they're talking about the challenge over something. You know what I mean? I associate him with the challenge over anything else at this point.
Sure.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, definitely.
Not here.
So now, of course, always.
Only I can slam Josh. Nobody else.
I love that. So what did you guys think of this daily challenge? This go the distance. Players, they were working in heats of men and women, and the women went first, I believe, right?
Yeah.
You had to stand on this platform, and there were these things hanging there that they had to grab, like a baton, sort of just hanging there, a series of them, and each jump that you had to make to grab the baton would get longer and longer. This looked pretty scary. It looked like a high fall into this water
looked
too.
terrifying.
Absolutely horrifying.
Right.
Mhm,
I don't know how they
we-
do these competitions.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. So there were two standouts for me for being absolutely terrible. One was Michelle and one was Wes. So one each for the men and the women. They were just immediately out.
But
Terrible.
I was so satisfied that it was Wes because of everything that had just happened in the DR about Josh.
Right. I had absolutely no reaction to Michelle's failure. I
Yeah.
was like, all right, well, sorry, girl. But Wes, I was pleased.
Yeah,
Yeah. Very pleased.
and Wes was the only one of the men that didn't get that first one.
Sure
Everybody
was.
else advanced.
Excellent.
Sure was.
But our winners for this were Michaela and Fessel. Fessel winning his second straight daily competition, daily challenge. And Michaela, who for a moment there didn't look like she would make it past maybe the second or third round.
Let me tell you something about Miss Michaela. Michaela was having that breakdown, and I was like, yep, 100%. Me too. That is exactly what I would be doing in this competition. And then she kept going, and she won. And I said, never mind. That is not at all what I would be doing. I would have been out for the count as soon as
Never mind. You lost me at your W.
as soon as I started getting worked up, curtains. I'm done.
Right.
Get me off of this thing. I'm not playing anymore.
Yes. I will say that I was a little tuned in to the possibility that she might actually do well in this because the way they edited this, I think it was Bananas who was saying in one of his DRs that like, oh, usually when this happens, someone doesn't do so well. And it's like, if you put that in, that you're letting me know that if she doesn't win, she's going to come real close.
I hate that they do that because as soon as I saw that, I went, okay, so she's winning. Like, I just, the way that they edit it together, I'm like, don't tell me before it happens.
Right. It's also our fault for being such reality TV junkies that we know.
Like, I have
so
to imagine,
well.
but I have to imagine everybody who's watching the challenge is
the
also
common
a reality
layperson
TV
is also
junkie.
looking at their phone. They're not doing. They're not paying as much attention as we are. We're like.
I guess.
Yeah, analyzing every little comment. What did that mean? Oh, what
exactly?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get to the bottom of it before you do, because at the end of the day, they call me Nancy Drew or Shelby Woo. Shelby Woo is who I really should have called on first. I don't like when you guys disrespect Shelby.
Us.
Nobody has disrespected Shelby in this house.
Everybody's acting like nobody knows who Shelby Woo is. Like it's such an obscure reference.
Neither of us were slandering Shelby, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right, I just want to ride hard for Shelby Woo.
All right. Hey, listen, that's fine. So, what did you think of? So it's been no secret that like Michaela, Chanel, right, Desi have been working with Tori. But coming into this now, we saw Michaela starting to ask, Chanel and Desi, like, what if we go after Tori though? Like, I kind of want to take a big shot. Like, so I want to just put up Alyssa or Cassidy. And Desi and Chanel didn't seem too on board. It wasn't until like her deliberation with Fessel that Michaela was really kind of like talked out of it. Did you want to see her put up Tori though? What did you think?
Well, of course. I would love to see Tori go up for any reason. But also, I also just enjoy when any vet goes up because they just so think that it should never happen. So I do enjoy it when anyone goes up. Even though I'm not hating Tori as much this season. Like, she's fine. But I would have loved it. But I knew we weren't going to get it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I figured it was a long shot, but
yeah. But can we talk about why though? Like, why at this point wouldn't you swing at Tori? Like, other than maybe you're just too scared if she actually does come back in the house. But I don't think she has the same social pull as she's had in other challenge houses. So even if she did come back, like, what's the blowback? Who's mad?
Right. Yeah, I guess I guess that was the main fear that like they kind of were talking about though, was that if she comes back, she's going to target us. And I guess, you know, Michaela won this one, but previously Tori had won the last two. So maybe they're thinking it's not so bad if she comes back and doesn't win the daily, but if she does win and she's won 2 out of the last 3, then all of us are in danger. Maybe that was the thought where it's like, if we throw up Alyssa or Cassidy, like whatever, you know, like, I don't know.
Okay.
But the nominees after Fessel and Michaela talked were Chris and Alyssa. I think this is funny too, because like, it's always like, oh yeah, we'll save our alliance by putting up Alyssa, right? Like the Survivor people, like, because she's Big Brother. But it's funny then, because when we see the votes come out down in the arena, it's like Cassidy had 9 votes. She knew exactly who everybody was that voted for her. It's like, it's just funny to me that like, it's like, oh yeah, we'll spare your feelings here. We won't put you up immediately. But then every single one of us is going to vote for you. Like,
well, because they all are stupidly like, oh, well, it's anonymous, so she'll never know, even though the only vote for somebody else came from her. Like,
right. So like, she most certainly knows. She can deduce.
How many times has Alyssa been nominated now? Like 3, 4, maybe something like that. She's been up a lot, I know.
oh,
But
gosh.
I just couldn't take the cry. It's like the 8th episode in a row where Alyssa at some point was crying.
Yeah.
It's just
She's not built for shows like this.
No, she's not built for this at all. She's not built for this at all. I have an additional comment, but I mean, I don't want to spoil your flow.
no,
But
go
like,
ahead.
at this point, it's Monday. People watch this, right? It's not a spoiler. So like, Alyssa actually said in her exit interviews that like she never watched the challenge. What? Like, you're gonna be on a show and you didn't even watch to see what it was?
Right,
Like,
not even like an episode or two, like just to know
right,
what
that
you're
doesn't
getting
make
yourself
any
into.
sense. That does not make any sense to me. And it makes me think that maybe she did watch some episodes and then maybe then she clocked it. Yo, I'm in over my head. So whenever I go out, I better just lie and act like I ain't never seen this show before, because who says yes to be part of anything without going? Like, even us as community theater performers, like if a theater said, hey, would you like to play this role in this? I'm gonna need to just swing by and just take a look at what your shows look like. You know, right? I don't want my good name tarnished. You know,
But
so
like not for nothing. Like it's not like she was incredibly prepared for Big Brother either. Like she didn't exactly soar in that game. She's just not meant for games like that, which is fine. It's not for everyone, but I mean,
lies you don't tell. You're absolutely right. I just it almost adds a little bit more steam to the fact that you really should have watched this. Like, what do you mean you don't know? I don't know. Like, it's just really whack. Really, really whack.
Right. Oh yeah. You should definitely check out at least some of it. And yeah, I agree with Gina. Like, even
especially
one episode,
because like
just to see like what's the format of this game.
Yes,
Because not for nothing,
agree to guest on a podcast before I've watched you once.
But
Hold on.
I have to imagine, given the nature of what they do on this show, they probably have to sign a shit ton of waivers. If you're getting all of that paperwork and you're not like, well, wait a second, what am I going to be doing when I get there? Like, at no point are you looking into what you're signing up for?
Right. That's such a good point too. Why am I signing all these waivers about my safety? Because I'm sure there's something in there like, you know, if you die, you can't.
There's gotta be
your estate cannot sue us.
Ton of waivers on this
right.
show.
I'm like, yo, why would I die? Like, what is this show? What is this show?
Why would I die?
Why would I die?
Oh God.
Yeah.
So what did you think? Chris was talking to Josh at one point about who he wanted to go against, right? And this is where Josh really started to be torn here. I was trying to think. So I guess if it wasn't, you know, one of the big guns, Tyler would be the person that you'd go for, or something like that. It's like a little bit of an easier kind of like. But Chris told Josh immediately, I want to go against either Wes or Bananas. What did you think about him going head on? I want to take on one of these legends. Don't try to give me somebody that's more of a layup. Like, I want to go big. Would you like that confidence from him?
I can't decide if it's confidence or ego. Like, I almost feel like because his social game is so bad, but he knows he can win a competition, he's like, no, put me up against the best competitors so I can prove how good I am at everything. You know what I mean?
True, it could be. I also wonder if part of it is like, put me up there. If my name keeps getting said, it's going to keep getting said. Put in one of these legends, this Wes or a Bananas, and then people might be a little bit less likely to say my name in deliberation because they know I'm not like a layup. Like I'm not gonna. I can go up against the very best in the game, and I'm gonna take you out. So like, maybe somebody else that goes in there says like, I don't know if I want to go against Chris. He just took out Wes. He just took out Bananas. He just took out somebody big.
Right, and maybe people will stop looking at me as such a layup. If I win, then like I'm a rock star. If I lose, not really shame on my game, right? Because like I went up against the best and I lost. Well, that's what happens when you go against the best.
Yeah, that's fair.
This kind of feeds into the ego thing a little bit too, though.
Yeah,
why we want to protect ourselves just in case we lose. That's interesting.
Right. Yeah,
that's interesting.
Oh man.
Can we also talk about the fact that we are this Survivor Girl Alliance? They seem to also be referring to themselves as the Strong Girl Alliance, which I might take slight issue with because, like, can we discuss the fact that Chanel is in it?
Yes, I'm glad you brought this up.
I know,
because I had this.
We don't want to do it. We like her, but
there was a comment. So I'm just gonna. So I'll briefly just because I have something to say off of this, but for it to make sense, I'm just gonna say what the votes were in the arena. So we had Chris and Alyssa both going in for sure because of the double elimination. Then we had Wes getting his ball came out of the hopper, so he'd be going against Chris. And then we had Cassidy coming out. She had so many votes. It was like would have been such a like crazy thing if she didn't get picked. So it was Cassidy versus Alyssa, and Cassidy immediately started calling out the Strong Girls Alliance. And we had a little confessional from Chanel going after Cassidy, saying like if you really want to mess with me, like I'll show you how much of a layup you really are. And I'm like, Chanel hasn't won anything. She hasn't been in an elimination. Cassidy has been in an elimination and has won. Like I felt a little bit like you're saying that you're going to show Cassidy what a layup she is, but like, what have you done to prove that you are not as much of a layup as she is?
Right. And to build on that point, I also appreciated the camera work during some of this episode, because there was a moment where Cassidy had said, like, I don't know, like you guys, I've already proven myself now. I've been down in the stand twice. And the way the camera like zoomed out and the only other person you saw that wasn't blurred was Chanel. I was yes. No, that was good.
It's not even that. It was because she was like, there are people out there that haven't been in the stand at all. And you just see Chanel be like, because she knows, like, of course, it's you.
Right, she's talking about you, strong girl.
Which I was living for Cassidy calling that out. Like, I was so here for it.
Yeah, I thought that was very fun.
See, I liked Cassidy on Survivor too, and now seeing her on this, I still like Cassidy. I do.
I feel like on Survivor, I didn't get enough of her to form an opinion, but I kept seeing everybody talking about how obsessed with her they were, and I was like, I don't know what I'm missing, because I feel like I'm just not seeing a lot of her. And immediately on the challenge, I'm like, there it is. There it is.
Yeah, I didn't dislike her on Survivor, but I agree. I feel like I didn't have enough to form an opinion one way or the other. But the fandom of Cassidy was so strong.
Oh yeah.
Especially when she flarned out in the finale. People were PO'd. And it was like, why? Like, I didn't even think she was really part of the conversation. Like,
yeah, no, the edit for sure did her dirty.
Yeah, I think she was robbed a little bit, but
but all right, should we talk about this elimination, this double elimination?
Yeah, we should.
Ripped off. Yeah, all right, ripped off. This was called. Players were hanging off of this giant tower. One person had a suit on that had all these patches on it. Okay, the other person hanging from the same tower had to try to chase this person with the suit with the patches and rip off as many of them as they could, as fast as they could. What did you think of this elimination, though? Did you like this?
I thought it was really fun to watch.
I loved it. I really, really liked it.
I thought it was really fun. So we had first up Alyssa and Cassidy. And it was pretty close. Alyssa actually did better in this than I expected her to.
She was not bad at all.
Yeah. She definitely had. They kept talking about it. That Alyssa had this reach advantage, and it was making it harder for Cassidy. But she got 8 out of the 10 patches off that Alyssa needed to get, and then Cassidy got 9 of Alyssa's patches off.
Mm-hmm.
So Cassidy ends up winning, sending Alyssa home, and that's it for Alyssa Snyder. The showmance has ended for now.
Which can we just talk about how she was talking about falling in love with Tyler at one point in this episode? I was like, honey, you have known this man for no more than like 3 weeks.
Right, you're falling in lust.
Right. Well, there was also a comment in here that Alyssa made as she was getting, her exit interviews as she was leaving, the episode was wrapping up, that I thought was really funny because she was talking about how she felt so great to have like, this person. She's never had a person like Tyler and blah, blah, blah. And we know about her showmance on Big Brother. So, but I think this is the clip. I have 2 in here that I wanted to show you guys that just made me laugh. I think this is the first one. I think this is it. Hold on, let me see.
Tyler, I'm gonna miss you so much. Like, I can't even describe what it's like to have a person in this game that will actually show up for you, and I've never had that before, especially in Big Brother, so...
It was just so funny, like that, especially with Big Brother, because, like...
I'd love to know what Kyle thinks about that.
Oh, God.
Eek.
Yeah.
Big yikes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was one other moment that where Alyssa was leaving and she was talking to Tyler, saying how much she was going to miss him. But you just have to watch Cassidy in this shot because maybe it's not. Maybe you won't even think it's funny at all. But for some reason, I found this so funny.
I'm gonna miss you. Please one day.
just like
She's
that.
like,
I'm gonna miss you, and her just like.
I didn't even notice that on the.
I
I didn't notice it either.
Just for some reason, I thought that was so funny because you could just tell that she's like, "Oh my God, get out of here already!"
Enough, just go.
Wow, I like that.
I love that.
All right, so we had another close battle though with the men, with Wes and Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Wes went first, trying to get the patches. He ripped 9 off. And he said he was feeling really good. He was in a really good spot. And for a while, when it was Chris's turn to rip off the patches, Wes was doing a pretty good job of, evading Chris. But once Chris latched on, I thought Chris had the best strategy of all, because you could see everyone else that did it was just kind of like trying to grab arms, grab your shoulder, rip the patches off. As soon as Chris was able was in reach of Wes, he not only grabbed onto him like with his arms, but he like wrapped his legs around him. And then at that point, there's literally nothing Wes could do.
There was one point in this competition where like Wes, you could see in the edit, like towards the end, just stopped even fighting him. Yeah. He wasn't even like trying to push him off anymore. He just kind of like stopped moving, and it was like, I can't do anything about this.
Right. Yeah. It just like he was locked in there.
I got to tell you something. Listen, y'all. This was about the hottest thing I've ever seen in my life. First of all, Chris's ass looked amazing in that harnessy thing. Okay. I went, like, I literally gasped. I couldn't believe it. And
I literally gasped.
I gasped out loud. And then when they referred to him as like this Venus, like fly trap or whatever, I was like, yo, he definitely could have just taken me. I'm like, oh, and now he's ripping shit off me. Ooh, like, come on now. Like,
oh God.
Yeah, stop.
Oh my God. You are right though. The harnesses really made everybody's booties pop, really made the booties pop. Because Alyssa and Cassidy, Alyssa and Cassidy looked great too. I will say, I remember
they did.
From Survivor, Cassidy, she had a great booty in that too. I remember. So.
Oh my God.
Well, so does Alyssa though. But see, I guess those didn't surprise me. No, those didn't surprise me because I expected it. Like, those are 2 beautiful women. Okay, I was not shocked. Chris, I have not been standing him at all. The second he was in that harness, I said, I done missed it, y'all. I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to go back and watch all that. So it's like, whoa, my goodness gracious.
Oh my
Kyle's gonna write to CBS and just ask for a cut of this season that just are scenes of Chris's ass.
Just of Chris in general now, because I am on board. Like, I am now rooting for Chris to win.
Oh, that's so funny. Honestly, I feel like he really could now.
He absolutely could. I feel like he's in a very, very good position. Well, assuming that the finale is as soon as we think it is. But didn't we also discuss that maybe it's a little later?
Yeah,
They
Kyler
did
actually was
add
the
in
one-
new episodes after we.
Kyler was the one that that had actually let us know about this, because I, for a long time, was thinking that there were either going to be like 11 or 12 episodes. That's what I was seeing online in articles. And then I think it was last week, Kyler actually mentioned that it's going to be 14 episodes. And now I look on the wiki and there's 14 episodes listed, with the ones that haven't aired yet just being like the title being, TBA or TBD or whatever.
Okay.
And I believe Kyler is also right that it looks like it's going to be an 8-person final rather than a 10-person final. So
what are we left with? What is this going to be? Like, who do we have now? And when is this ending? No, I don't mean that in a bad way, but I think that that changes whether or not we think that Chris is in a good position. If we think that we're an episode or two away from the finale, like we're basically at finale eve, then I think he could be in a good position.
Well, we have what?
People now
Chris
being eliminated, but if he has a few more eliminations to go,
looks like
we've got Chris,
12
Corey,
12 people.
Bananas,
12.
Josh, Fessy.
So Kyler says 7 and 7. So Kyler's saying we've got 14. So if we're going down to an 8 and we don't have another double, then I would now contest that maybe Chris is not in the best position. He sent home Wes. That's great. But with that much time for people to think, it could also be that we want to make sure we get Chris out before we get to the final, because maybe we don't want to run this with him in it.
Is it 14? I'm counting here. It looks like Chris, Corey, Fessel, Johnny, Josh, and Tyler. Chris, Corey, Fessel, Johnny, Josh, Tyler. That's 6. And then Cassidy, Chanel.
Tyler said now 6 and 6. So we started with 7 and 7. Now it's 6 and 6.
Gotcha. Okay. I was like, who am I forgetting about?
So we would need to lose another 4 people. Well, as long as we're keeping it like single and double digits, I'm usually okay with math.
So 12. So if we don't have another double, we need to have another. We have another 4 eliminations.
Unless there's a
double or a purge, right?
Yeah. Which could certainly be coming still.
I don't know. Do we think that now Chris has asserted himself as a threat that shouldn't be touched, or a threat that really needs to go? Yeah, that can go either way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Josh is going to... So, of course, Wes gets eliminated. Wes immediately knew that somebody, though... Well, here's the one interesting thing, though, right?
Yeah.
Is that he got an extra vote.
Yes.
And Josh fessed up and admitted that he was the one that threw the extra vote. Does Josh see any blowback from this? You know what I mean? Does a target shift? Maybe Chris makes him more, a little more intimidating to go against. You have Josh that just sort of like backstabbed the vets. Does Chris sort of like go into the shadows a little bit now as like a major target? I mean, the only thing about it is that Tyler's really the odd man out, it feels like now. Too, especially like Chris also, but like Tyler even more so to me feels like the odd man out. If Showmance is gone now too, like everybody is gone from his side, I feel like.
Right. But I mean, it depends on what reason we think that he might be getting blowback for it is. Like, he's not going to get any vet blowback because the only other proper vet, Corey and Bananas? Corey's not going to care that you sent Wes home. Bananas.
I could see Bananas being a little bit more, because he did say in this episode that, like, I think right before the elimination, Bananas was like, Wes has been my biggest ally. Like, we've been working together. It's really important for my game that he stays. And like knowing, because that's the thing, like one ball can get you sent in. Like, I think it was what Tyler had like 7 or 8 votes. Bananas had 2. I think it was 3 for Wes, 7 for Tyler, 2 for Bananas. So if you take that 1 away from Wes and now it's 8, 2, and 2, that could have been the whole difference. And maybe Tyler would have been down there. You know, like, will Johnny take that personally and be like, got to punish you a little bit here, Josh? Sorry.
Maybe. I don't know that I really trust this little friendship between Bananas and Wes. Like, it still feels weird to me. Like, it was too many years of them not liking each other for us to all of a sudden, like, you expect me to just buy this in the past few months.
Mm.
And I guess it's been a little bit longer than months, right? But in comparison to where we've come from and how many years this rivalry has been in place, like, I don't know. It almost feels like an alliance of convenience and actual loyalty.
Does it feel like manufactured at all? Because like I feel like it was set up by that one, like, remember that one video call that Wes and Bananas had?
Yeah. I remember us talking about it then. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, did people kind of know, like, maybe Wes was saying this could be my last one, and they were like, Bananas and Wes, like, you guys should like work together for Wes's last, stand or something? Like, was it like kind of a manufactured, like, oh, Wes on his way out, now him and Bananas are cool, after their many years of being rivals, like.
I think manufactured, but for a different reason. I think we realize that a lot of the vets that we played this game with regularly are not coming back, or at least not coming back with the same regularity as they used to. Like, we're not seeing Anissa in every single season of the challenge. We're not seeing like old school Kyle. Even though he was a new school kind of a thing then, he still would be considered a vet today, and we're not seeing him. What other vets don't we see as much? Like, there's a lot of people that have kind of like moved on. So it's like, do I need to keep this? Darrell? Yeah, Darrell still shows up, but not with the frequency that he did. Just like CT. So this vet alliance, if you want it to continue to be strong in these newer versions of the challenge, like, it's almost like you got to start working together because your numbers are thinning.
Yeah, I agree.
So
what do we think? Was this really Wes's last hurrah?
No. I think it's his last hurrah for a little while.
Yeah.
Just like it was CT's last hurrah for a little while, right? While he did the family thing, and everybody, you got to take your time off to go take care of your kids. Like, go be a responsible parent, because we'll judge you and rip you up on Twitter if you don't.
Right.
You're a bad mother. You're a bad father. But like after a couple of years, it's going to be like, okay. I mean, that kid's in school anyway, so.
Yeah.
Right. I was thinking too. Yeah. Because like, there's a part of me that feels like even Wes might believe it right now that it's his last one. Like, right now in his mind, he might think this is my last one. But like you said, 2-3 years ago, 2 or 3 years from now, when the kid has already said their first word and taken their first step and gone to school, like, was he really going to pass it up? Be like, honey, do you mind if I go for a couple months and just shoot this one season, and then I'll take another couple years off or something? Like,
you say a couple of years off. I don't even know about that, because this honey that we're asking for permission to leave, honey is probably also like, you know what? I am not used to having you around this much.
Yeah.
Okay, so this kid is grown enough. We got this. Why don't you go? How long is the filming commitment? 60 days. See you later.
Oh my God.
It's like, don't worry. My mom will come and stay with me. You don't like her anyway. I'll have all the help I need.
Goodbye. Have fun. Thank you. You get all the points for being such a supportive partner. Meanwhile, like, thank God. Right. I think that's the reality of the situation. Yeah. And you might come back with money. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
You need help packing?
And honestly, even just like getting to tell your friends, like, oh yeah, my husband, he's off shooting a television show.
Right.
Oh my God.
Come on. This is not the end. This is going to be the end for a little bit.
Yeah. I agree. But all right, I don't know if I have anything else. Do you guys have anything else for this episode?
I have just one more thing to circle back to the Josh conversation, because I did see that Kyler.
I fucking love Kyler.
Yeah, me too.
But I wanted to bring this up because we had a similar conversation during that one Josh deliberation where he was kind of like doing the vets dirty work and taking out rookies. And we were talking about like, why is Josh aligning himself with the vets when he knows that he's on the bottom of that? And like, we had that whole discussion.
Right.
I saw at that time, I saw a lot of people saying the same thing on social media. And then after this episode, I saw a lot of pushback on Josh for taking a shot at Wes and being like, well, that's supposed to be your ally. Why are you taking a shot at the vets? Who do you think you are? I saw people saying you're the reason why Wes is never coming back to the challenge again. Like just crazy shit. And I saw Josh addressing it too, being like, if I take a shot at the rookies and I work with the vets, you guys don't like that. Now I take a shot at the vets because I know that I am on the bottom of that alliance and you don't like that either. So what am I supposed to do?
Nothing. It's a lose-lose situation. And that's what's interesting about people like Josh in this game. And there are others that we can, who else can we say? I mean, he was gone too soon, but Paulie, I would put in that same bucket as people who are vets, but we don't have the same camaraderie with you that we're really going to ride behind you until the wheels fall off, right? So why do I need to? Where do those people go? That's true.
Because I don't think he was wrong in putting Wes in.
I don't think he was wrong either. And I think that as the older vets stop playing, that will change and that will shift. And you can have almost like what the challenge used to be, just like vets and newbies. But right now, I feel like we're in this really weird in between, especially when you're talking about the MTV version and the CBS version.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the lore is very different.
Yeah.
Because Josh didn't even get to come in this game as a vet.
Right. Which we criticized then too.
We did. Season 6, you're not a vet, but you're expected. I have to vote with you, but I also know that like when push comes to shove, you're gonna not treat me like the same as the rest in this vet alliance.
And case in point, the way that Wes was talking about him at the beginning of the episode.
Right.
You know?
Right. So what are people like Josh and Paulie, and I'm sure there are others, it's just their names.
Fessy, I would put in that category.
Oh yes, King Fessy. I'm so sorry I forgot you. I'm so sorry, but absolutely, I would put him in that same vein.
I even put people like Michelle in there, like Michelle.
Michelle for sure.
Like,
Michelle for sure. I think Fessy is a little bit. Fessy's situation is a little bit different because I think that people, even though they discount him, I think that their discounting of him really is on his social game, right? Which is not really the strongest. But physically, I think people are very, very intimidated by Fessy and don't want to see him in elimination. So like they will respect him enough to kind of like leave him alone. But I don't think they see him as a proper vet, even though he absolutely deserves. He earned his flowers.
Yeah. And I think that like that's why you saw Fessy and Josh throughout the game fighting as hard as they were at times for the Big Brother people. It's because they feel like they need them. If they felt so secure with the vets, then they could just be like, all right, whatever. Big Brother's a show I did 8 years ago. I'm gonna I'm gonna go work with the vets now. Like I don't care. But like they clearly feel not comfortable enough with the vets to only rely on them. They need other numbers and they know it. Whereas the whole time you see people like Tori riding so hard only for the vets, and then she has her side alliance with the Strong Girls Alliance and all that. But like Tori all day, is all about the vets, the challenge vets. So, but I'm glad that the whole thing with Josh came because I did see that tweet, and I agree.
Yeah,
and I did. And like how much it bothers him. Like we all know that Josh is a very emotional person. Which I'm the same way. So I get it. Like I totally get, how he feels sometimes. I did slightly enjoy a little bit how there was a comment that TJ made. It's like, man, Chris, you did so well against Wes. You sent him into retirement. And then the camera panned to Josh and he was like, damn it, TJ. Like you can tell how much is weighing on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do
agree. His theatrics. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I do agree that it was the right move for Josh to put 100%. A vote on Wes.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you can see how much he struggles with it.
Yeah, and then Wes carrying on at the end of this, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you were the third vote. Wow, really? Wow. And it's like, get out of
There were
here.
people on social media being like, Josh, because of this, I hope you never see a final. And it's like, why? Because he eliminated somebody that he couldn't win against? Like,
Right.
that's
Because
the
he
game.
played the game. Exactly.
That's
Enough
the
now.
game.
Enough now. If you want to get on Josh, there are other things you can select and you might have some validity with it. But this, nah, absolutely not.
Yeah,
Totally warranted.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else? We got to be moving on, don't we? We got another stream to do. So, any other thoughts though for the benefit of the community?
I think
No,
I'm good.
but I'm loving this season.
Okay.
This is leaps and bounds better than Challenge USA.
Oh
One.
my God.
Yeah.
By
yeah.
far.
With the bank and there's money all over the place. Like, get out of here. Like, I never need to see a bank again.
Yeah, I really was not that into USA 1. I'm going to be so honest. I am loving USA 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot better.
This has been awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And it's just the format of it for me that makes it
Yeah.
better. It's not that there are vets in it. Like I haven't
Right.
minded the vets, but I would love this season exactly the same way it's been laid out with all new people to the challenge.
Honestly, I would prefer it with no vets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a place for them. Okay, get out of here. Your home is MTV. When I turn into CBS's The Challenge, I want to see brand new people playing a game I love.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. All right. So
Manwan Monday.
just had to get that in there quick. What do we have coming up?
God, it wasn't forgotten. Coming up, 10:30 p.m. Big Brother 25. That's in 9 minutes or so.
So soon.
Yes. So that'll be the remainder of tonight. Big Brother 25 at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Then this Thursday we'll be back to wrap up the week of Big Brother 25. That'll be at 10:15 p.m. Eastern, right?
No, actually, we have to discuss that because I think that Big Brother ended saying that Thursday's episode is back to 9 o'clock this week.
Oh,
I think I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're
correct about that.
11:15 so that we can be behind the more important pods.
More important.
Yeah. I agree. Okay.
Not
All right.
more important.
That's right. I forgot about that. So Thursday, 11:15 p.m. Eastern time, we'll be back to wrap up the week of Big Brother 25. And then next Monday, of course, we'll be back with another stream of the Challenge USA and a stream of Big Brother 25. So, and we got to figure out. I know Survivor's starting and all this. We have to really get into.
I
stuff.
know we never did a
about doing
draft. We never did anything. What a mess.
I know.
What a mess.
Maybe we could just draft teams separately, like tonight after we finish streaming after 10:30. Maybe we could just like draft teams and then we can talk about it the first time we talk about Survivor. I don't know.
Possible.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
All right.
Okay. Well, we'll see you soon, folks. Find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. Yeah, have a great night.